Todd is third. Dave B Racing from South Africa is P4. Todd is third. Dave B Racing is P4. Wiremu is P6. Chris Butt is P2. Best lap is a 1:14.730. Todd is P3. Johnny Prince is P5. Dave B Racing is fourth. Chris Butt is second. Dave B Racing is fourth. Wiremu is sixth. Best lap is a 1:17.062. Todd is P3. Johnny Prince is fifth on hards. Wiremu is sixth. Dave B Racing is 4th. Johnny Prince is 5th. Todd is P3. Chris Butt is P2 on hards. The race dictator from New Zealand is 1st. Chris Butt is P3. The race dictator is P1. Johnny Prince is P5. Todd is 2nd. Best lap is a 1:14.532. Dave B Racing is 4th. Wiremew is 6th. Johnny Prince from New Zealand is P5. Dave B Racing is P4. Jason Short from New Zealand is 8th on mediums. Johnny Prince is P5. Todd is 2nd. Chris Butt is third. That Canadian guy from Canada is P7 on hards. Best lap is a 1:17.801. Dave B Racing is fourth. That Canadian guy is seventh. Dave B Racing is fourth. That Canadian guy is P7. Wiremew is P6. Best lap is a 1:16.004. Johnny Prince is fifth on hards. That Canadian guy is seventh on hards. The qualification session is at Willow Springs International Raceway in Willow Springs, USA. Dave B Racing from South Africa is second on hards. That Canadian guy from Canada is third on mediums. Wiremew is P1 on hards. Johnny Prince from New Zealand is fourth on hards. Wiremew is first. Wiremu improved his P1 with a 115.859. Chris Butt from New Zealand is P3 on hards. Chris Butt improved his P2 with a 115.902. 0.043 off pole. Wiremu is P1 up 0.15. Best lap is a 115.859. Todd is provisional pole with a 114.682. Chris Butt from New Zealand is 4th up 0.73. Chris Butt improved his 3rd with a 115.324. 0.642 off pole. Dave B Racing is P7 up 6.49. Dave B Racing improved his 2nd with a 114.920. 0.238 off pole. That Canadian guy from Canada is 6th up 0.18. 5 minutes remaining in the session. Johnny Prince from New Zealand is P7 up 2.28. Johnny Prince improved his 4th with a 115.186. 0.504 off pole. The Race Dictator from New Zealand is 3rd up 0.29 on hards. Race Dictator improved his P2 with a 114.725. 0.043 off pole. Wiremu is 6th up 0.12. Wiremu improved his P7 with a 115.574. 0.892 off pole. The Race Dictator is 2nd up 0.25. The Race Dictator is provisional pole with a 114.373. Jason Short from New Zealand is 6th on hards. Jason Short improved his 6th with a 115.425. 1.052 off pole. Wiremu is P7 up 0.54 on hards. Chris Butt is 5th up 0.15. Johnny Prince is 4th up 0.27. Johnny Prince improved his P4 with a 114.976. 0.603 off pole. Todd from New Zealand is P2 on hards. Johnny Prince is 4th up 0.33. Wiremew is P7 up 0.23. Dave B Racing is 3rd up 0.10. The Race Dictator is P1 up 0.19. Todd is 2nd up 0.15. Best lap is a 114.682. 0.309 off pole. The Race Dictator is provisional pole with a 114.348. Wiremew is 7th up 0.14. Best lap is a 115.574. 1.226 off pole. Jason Short is 5th. The qualifying session is now in overtime. Jason Short improved his P5 with a 115.054. 0.706 off pole. Broadcast bot is 20th. The race session is at Willow Springs International Raceway in Willow Springs, USA. The Race Dictator is 1st. Todd from New Zealand is 2nd on hards. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Todd passed the Race Dictator for 1st. Jason Short from New Zealand is 2nd on hards. Wiremew is P4 on hards. Wiremew is now P3. Jason Short is P2. Johnny Prince from New Zealand is 5th on hards. Jason Short is 2nd. Johnny Prince is 5th, 0.2 behind that Canadian guy. Jason Short is P2, 0.9 behind Todd. Johnny Prince is 5th, 1.0 behind that Canadian guy. The race dictator from New Zealand is P7 on hards, 0.3 behind Chris Budd. Johnny Prince is P5, 0.2 behind that Canadian guy. Johnny Prince lost P6 to the race dictator. Chris Budd from New Zealand is P6 on hards battling the race dictator. Chris Budd passed the race dictator for P5. The race dictator is P6, 0.6 behind Chris Budd. Johnny Prince from New Zealand is P8, 1.0 behind Dave B. Racing. The race dictator is P6, 0.7 behind Chris Budd. Chris Budd is 5th, 0.7 ahead of the race dictator. The race dictator on lap 4 is 6th, 0.5 behind Chris Budd. That Canadian guy from Canada is 5th on hards, 0.2 ahead of the race dictator. Johnny Prince is 8th, 0.5 behind the race dictator. Wiremew is 3rd, 0.6 behind Jason Short. "15 minutes remaining in the session. Jason Short on lap 4 is P2, 0.4 ahead of Wiremew. Wiremew is 3rd, 0.3 behind Jason Short. Jason Short is 2nd, 0.3 ahead of Wiremew. Wiremew is P3, 0.4 behind Jason Short. Jason Short is P2, 0.3 ahead of Wiremu. Wiremu is third, 0.2 behind Jason Short. The race dictator is fifth on hards, 0.3 behind Chris Budd. Wiremu is P3, 0.4 behind Jason Short. Chris Budd is fourth. Best lap is a 1:15.400. 0.416 off the fastest lap. Wiremu is third, 0.4 behind Jason Short. Chris Budd on lap 6 is fourth, 0.4 behind Wiremu. Chris Budd is now third. The race dictator is fourth, 0.3 behind Chris Budd. Chris Budd from New Zealand is P3, 0.3 ahead of the race dictator. The race dictator is fourth, 0.4 behind Chris Budd. Chris Budd from New Zealand is P3, 0.5 ahead of the race dictator. The race dictator is P4, 0.4 behind Chris Budd. Chris Budd on lap 7 is P3, 0.4 ahead of the race dictator. The race dictator from New Zealand is P4, 0.6 behind Chris Budd. Chris Budd from New Zealand is third, 0.4 behind Jason Short. The race dictator is fourth. Best lap is a 1:14.767. 0.051 off the fastest lap. 10 minutes remaining in the session. Chris Budd is P3, 0.3 ahead of the race dictator. The race dictator is P4, 0.3 behind Chris Budd. Chris Budd is third on hards, 0.2 behind Jason Short. Chris Budd is now second. Jason Short is fourth, 0.2 behind Chris Budd. Chris Butt is third, 0.1 ahead of Jason Short. Chris Butt was 0.6 faster last lap. Chris Butt is now fifth. Dave B Racing from South Africa is P8 on hards, 0.1 behind Chris Butt. Dave B Racing passed that Canadian guy for sixth. Dave B Racing lost P7 to Chris Butt. The race dictator is P2, 0.6 behind Todd. Johnny Prince is third, 0.9 behind the race dictator. The race dictator was 1.0 faster last lap. That Canadian guy is P6, 0.5 behind Jason Short. The race dictator is P2, 0.6 behind Todd. The race dictator lost second to Johnny Prince. Johnny Prince is second, 0.3 behind Todd. Johnny Prince is now first. The race dictator is second, 0.2 behind Johnny Prince. Johnny Prince was 3.9 faster last lap. Wiremu is P3, 0.4 ahead of Todd. Wiremu was 8.6 faster last lap. The race dictator is P2 on hards, 0.3 ahead of Wiremu. Wiremu was 5.6 faster last lap. Jason Short entering the pits is first. The race dictator is now second. Wiremu is fourth. Best lap is a 1:15.819. 1.103 off the fastest lap. The race dictator on lap 10 is third, 0.3 behind Johnny Prince. The race dictator is now P2. Jason Short exiting pits on hards. Wiremu is P3, 0.6 behind the race dictator. Jason Short entering the pits is P8. The race dictator is P2, 0.6 ahead of Wiremu. The race dictator was 0.7 faster last lap. Wiremu is P3, 0.4 behind the race dictator. Five minutes remaining in the session. The race dictator from New Zealand is second, 0.7 behind Johnny Prince. Jason Short exiting pits on hards. That Canadian guy on lap 11 is sixth, 0.5 behind Dave B Racing. The race dictator is P2, 0.6 behind Johnny Prince. Todd is fourth, 1.0 behind Wiremu. The race dictator is P2, 0.5 behind Johnny Prince. Todd is P4. Best lap is a 1:14.767. 0.051 off the fastest lap. Johnny Prince is P2, 0.1 behind the race dictator. Todd is 4th, 0.2 behind Wiremu. Johnny Prince is P2, 0.8 behind the race dictator. The race dictator was 0.8 faster last lap. Jason Short exiting pits on hards. Todd is 4th, 0.2 behind Wiremu. Jason Short entering the pits is 8th. Wiremu is P4 battling Todd. Jason Short exiting pits on hards. Dave B Racing is P6, 1.3 behind that Canadian guy. Wiremu is 4th. Dave B Racing is P6, 0.9 behind that Canadian guy. Todd is 3rd, 2.0 behind Johnny Prince. That Canadian guy is P5, 0.2 behind Wiremu. Todd is 3rd, 0.6 behind Johnny Prince. Dave B Racing on lap 15 is P5, 0.3 behind Wiremu. Todd is P3, 0.6 behind Johnny Prince. Dave B Racing is P5, 0.2 behind Wiremu. Dave B Racing was 4.6 faster last lap. The leader has just finished the race. The race dictator finished P1. Todd finished 2nd. Johnny Prince finished 3rd. Dave B Racing finished P4. That Canadian guy finished P5. Jason Short finished 8th. Wiremu finished 6th. Chris Butt finished P7. Broadcast bot is 9th. The race session is at Willow Springs International Raceway in Willow Springs, USA. Jason Short from New Zealand is first on hards. 20 minutes remaining in the session. Race start. Wiremu is second on hards. Todd from New Zealand is P3 on hards. Wiremu is second. Todd is P3. Dave B. Racing from South Africa is 7th on hards. Todd is 3rd, 0.3 behind Wiremu. Wiremu is P2, 0.5 ahead of Todd. Todd is P3, 0.3 behind Wiremu. That Canadian guy from Canada is P8 on hards, 0.6 behind Dave B. Racing. Todd is P3, 0.3 behind Wiremu. That Canadian guy on lap 2 is P8, 0.8 behind Dave B. Racing. Todd is P3, 0.2 behind Wiremu. That Canadian guy from Canada is 7th, 0.6 behind Dave B Racing. Wiremew is 2nd, 0.6 behind Jason Short. The Race Dictator from New Zealand is 4th on hards, 0.5 ahead of Chris Budd. Wiremew is P2, 0.6 behind Jason Short. Todd from New Zealand is P3, 0.7 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is P2, 0.2 ahead of Todd. Todd is P3. Best lap is a 1:14.652. 15 minutes remaining in the session. Wiremew is P2, 0.5 behind Jason Short. Todd is 3rd, 0.6 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is 2nd, 0.2 behind Jason Short. Todd from New Zealand is P3, 0.3 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is 2nd, 0.7 behind Jason Short. Chris Budd from New Zealand is P4 on hards, 0.6 behind Todd. Wiremew is 2nd, 0.5 behind Jason Short. The Race Dictator is P5, 0.4 behind Chris Budd. Wiremew is 2nd, 0.8 behind Jason Short. Chris Budd is 6th, 0.8 behind Dave B Racing. Wiremew is 2nd, 0.6 behind Jason Short. Todd is 3rd, 0.9 behind Wiremew. That Canadian guy entering the pits is 8th. The Race Dictator is P4, 1.0 behind Todd. Wiremew is second, 1.1 behind Jason Short. The Race Dictator is fourth, 1.3 behind Todd. Wiremew is P2, 0.7 behind Jason Short. The Race Dictator is fourth on hards, 0.7 behind Todd. Wiremew on lap 7 is second, 0.6 behind Jason Short. The Race Dictator is P4, 0.7 behind Todd. Ten minutes remaining in the session. Wiremew is P2, 0.3 behind Jason Short. The Race Dictator is fourth. Best lap is a 1:14.578. Wiremew is second, 0.9 behind Jason Short. Wiremew was 0.5 faster last lap. Todd is third, 2.0 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is second, 1.0 behind Jason Short. Todd is third, 2.2 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is P2. Best lap is a 1:14.698. 0.120 off the fastest lap. The Race Dictator is fourth, 2.2 behind Todd. Wiremew is P2, 0.8 behind Jason Short. Todd is third, 2.4 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is second, 0.9 behind Jason Short. The Race Dictator is P4, 2.6 behind Todd. Wiremew is P2, 1.2 behind Jason Short. The race dictator from New Zealand is P4, 2.6 behind Todd. Wiremew is P3, 0.8 behind Todd. The race dictator is P4, 1.3 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is third on hards, 1.3 behind Todd. Five minutes remaining in the session. The race dictator is P4 on hards, 1.1 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is third on hards, 0.3 ahead of the race dictator. The race dictator is P4 on hards, 0.2 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is third, 0.8 ahead of the race dictator. The race dictator is P4, 1.0 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is third, 1.2 behind Todd. The race dictator is P4, 1.1 behind Wiremew. The race dictator was 0.8 faster last lap. Wiremew is third. Best lap is a 1:14.337. 0.383 off the fastest lap. The race dictator is P4, 0.5 behind Wiremew. Wiremew is third, 0.8 ahead of the race dictator. The race dictator is fourth. Wiremew is third on hards, 0.5 ahead of the race dictator. Wiremu lost P3 to the Race Dictator. The Race Dictator is third, 0.3 ahead of Wiremu. The Race Dictator was 0.9 faster last lap. Wiremu is P4, 0.9 behind the Race Dictator. The Race Dictator is P3, 1.3 ahead of Wiremu. Wiremu is fourth, 2.3 behind the Race Dictator. The Race Dictator is P3, 2.5 ahead of Wiremu. Wiremu is P4, 2.6 behind the Race Dictator. The Race Dictator was 2.8 faster last lap. The leader has just finished the race. Jason Short finished first. Todd finished second. That Canadian guy finished P8. The Race Dictator finished third. Wiremu finished fourth. Dave B Racing finished fifth. Johnny Prince from New Zealand finished sixth. Chris Buddett finished seventh.